The scene is usually a quiet one. A heart ceases its dance. The breath, a lifelong companion that came and went without asking, offers its final whisper. But understand this. In that precise moment, the journey does not end. It deepens. Something profound, invisible to the waking eye, begins to stir. The soul, the inner light that animated the form, begins its gentle release. This is not the sharp flick of a switch. It is more like a great ship untying its ancient moorings, ropes woven from every experience, every emotion, every choice. Wisdom from those who have touched this threshold and return speaks of a common path, a sudden lightness, a peace that the world cannot give, and a clear sense of watching the body from a distance, like a sailor looking back at the shore. They hear the world, yet cannot touch it. The consciousness, Da, is awake, alive, but free from its vessel. This separation is also a shift in energy. My tradition speaks of a root, a tether of light connecting the spirit to the body. This root thins, softens, until it releases, marking the final departure from the harbor of the physical world. But not all ships are ready to sail. For a life lived in a storm of sudden trauma, or for a heart anchored heavily to the material shore, the untying can be a moment of confusion. The soul may linger, not understanding why the winds no longer fill its sails, why its calls echo back unheard. It is the waking from a powerful dream, only to find the room has vanished. The emotional wave is immense. Imagine one who believed the ocean's surface was all there is, suddenly finding themselves breathing in the deep, aware, floating, hearing the cries from the shore, but unable to respond. It is the dawn of a new day, but the sun has not yet risen. There is no map. For the one who has prepared, who has practiced the art of letting go, this moment is a homecoming. The soul understands. It senses the presence of guides, old friends of the spirit, beings of light offering a steady hand. There is a quiet welcome. Everything begins with a final breath, but the end is simply a door to a new beginning. The soul is free, yes, but it carries the cargo of a lifetime. The joy, the sorrow, the lessons learned. It leaves the vessel behind, but its logbook is complete. And what happens next is the journey we will explore now. Imagine waking in a room you have always known, yet it feels strange. The colors are deeper. Sounds seem to come from within and without. The ones you love move as if you are the wind. You call to them, you reach out, but your hand passes through. You are both present and unseen. For many souls, this is the first morning on the subtle plane. After the great untying, the inner light does not dim. It often shines brighter. The struggle is that the soul does not always know it has crossed the threshold. This creates a deep fog. It senses a change, but cannot name it. The reason is simple: the soul still wears the habits of a lifetime. It sees itself as the same self, with the same thoughts, the same worries, the same unfinished lists. So it tries to continue, to return home, to speak to a child, to finish its work. But the world no longer responds. The door does not feel its touch. The words do not find an ear. The people do not turn their heads. And from this grows a profound sense of isolation. Some souls may wander for what feels like days or weeks, close to the form they once inhabited, especially when the departure was sudden. A storm, a failing of the heart. The shock is so great, the spirit needs time to feel the new ground beneath its feet. It is like waking from a long sleep with no one to explain where you are. Ancient wisdom teaches that this period is a crossroads. If the soul is too attached to earthly things, to its pain or its ambitions, it can remain for a time in a place between worlds, an echo chamber where it feels the pull of human emotion, but has no hands to act. At this moment, the inner work of a lifetime makes the difference. If the soul practiced awareness, cultivated a quiet heart, or sowed seeds of kindness, it is often met quickly. Guides appear, lights in the fog draw near and show the way. But if the soul lived without looking inward, the journey may feel longer, more solitary. Still, no soul is ever truly abandoned. It may simply take longer to see the lanterns lit for its passage. Interestingly, some who are nearing their own crossing report seeing loved ones who have already passed. These visits, often dismissed as mere phantoms of the mind, may be the soul's first handshakes with the other side, a gentle call from home. It is also true that in the first hours, the soul often follows its own vessel's journey, watching the flurry of activity, hearing the family's tears, witnessing the gathering of friends. All of this adds to the fog. The soul sees everything, feels everything, but is no longer an actor on the stage, and accepting this change in the play is a difficult art. The clock on the wall continues to tick. But on this other shore, time breathes differently. For many wisdom traditions, the first 7 days are a corridor, a space where the soul remains very close to the world of form. After the initial shock of seeing oneself outside the body, the soul seeks the familiar. Some stay near, watching the rituals unfold. Others follow their loved ones, a silent passenger in the car, an unseen presence in the room. There is no more hurry, but there is an inner urgency, a need to understand what has happened, and a need to know that those left behind will be steady. In this symbolic space, the final farewell becomes a powerful ceremony of release. For the living, it is a space to grieve, to share, to find strength in each other. For the soul, it is a front row seat to its own legacy. Every tear, every word of gratitude, every memory shared helps the soul understand the shape of the life it lived. It is not a flight of fancy. When sensitive people feel a gentle coolness, a stillness in the air, a peaceful presence moving among the grieving. These are signs the soul is there, learning its way through this human ritual it once belonged to. It senses the flowers, hears the whispers, sees its own image. This all helps weave the understanding that its earthly chapter is complete, a necessary realization before turning the page. During these 7 days, the soul's energy is still a close echo of the material world. This is why the emotions of the living are like winds. They can be a gentle breeze, pushing the soul toward the light, or a harsh gale, keeping it tethered to the stones of unresolved sorrow. Cries of despair, words like, "I cannot go on without you," are anchors of energy. They bind, they confuse, they delay the departure. Sincere prayers, loving memories, and a peaceful acceptance are like small lanterns, illuminating the path forward. Many cultures mark the 7th day with ceremony. In a spiritual sense, this is a closing of a magnetic gate. The final energetic threads connecting the soul to its old home begin to dissolve. If the soul has accepted its crossing, felt the love, and understood its new state, its energy lightens. A gateway, described as a tunnel of light, a bridge of silver, or a gate of mist, opens, inviting it to step forward. But this process is not a formula. Some spirits pass through in hours. Others, held by deep attachment, may linger for much longer. The number 7 is not a deadline. It is an archetype, a symbol of a complete cycle, like the phases of the moon. Once this cycle is honored, the soul has the strength to move away from the dense echoes of earth and enter more subtle realms of transition. For those who remain, knowing that your loved one can still feel your energy changes the nature of grief. It becomes an invitation to transform pain into gratitude, to tell stories of celebration, to send love without words. It is the highest service you can offer them. For those reflecting on their own journey, understanding this corridor inspires a life of less attachment, of more forgiveness, of building bridges, not walls. All of this will make your own transition a gentle and peaceful one. After the first 7 days, a quieter, but even more profound phase begins, the 40 days of farewell. During this time, the soul truly begins to loosen its worldly tethers and dives into a journey of review, of mending, of liberation. This idea of 40 days resonates across many ancient paths. It is a universal symbol of deep transformation. During these 40 days, the soul undergoes a process like unrolling a great scroll of the life just lived. The purpose is not judgment from without. No one stands with a scale. It is a review from within. The soul revisits its choices, its feelings, the intention behind every act. But there is a profound difference. It now feels the echo of its actions in others. If it caused pain, it now feels that pain from the perspective of the one who was hurt. If it gave love, it feels the warmth of that love as it bloomed in the other's heart. This is one of the most powerful teachings of the afterlife, to truly understand the ripple effect of your own existence, both the light and the shadow. At this stage, the soul is often guided by beings of light, wise mentors from the spirit realm. They are not there to accuse or applaud. They are there to help. They illuminate other paths that could have been chosen. They help the soul see the wisdom within its own suffering. They teach that while the past cannot be changed, it can be understood. And this understanding is the key that unlocks the chains of guilt, of resentment, of all that still binds the soul to the life before. During these 40 days, the attachments to home, possessions, and even people begin to soften. This does not mean it forgets love. It begins to see love in its purest form, free from the ego's demands and the small grievances of earthly life. But to move forward, it must be released. Many spirits at this time feel the pain of their loved ones who cling to them, who try to hold them with threads of sorrow. I will never forget you. I will not move on. The soul feels this, and though it is born of love, it weighs like chains on one who needs to walk a new path. It is also during this time that dreams of the departed become especially clear. The soul may draw near to give a sign, to share a message, or simply for one last loving glance. The dreams feel real because they are. They are encounters on the bridge between worlds, a way for the soul to find closure and ask permission to continue its journey. At the end of these 40 days, a final energetic release occurs. The soul, now lighter and more aware, is ready to enter subtler dimensions. It says goodbye to the earth, carrying only what is real, the true bonds of love, the lessons learned, and the essence of who it truly is. For the living, this can be felt as a sudden peace, a feeling that their loved one is truly okay. It can come as a sign, a scent in the air, a familiar song, a butterfly that lands in an unlikely place. Small whispers from the universe that mark the true departure has begun. One of the most important truths to grasp is that the connection does not break after death. In the delicate months following the crossing, the emotions of the living reverberate powerfully in the spiritual world. Think of it this way: when you are alive and deeply connected to someone, you can feel their state of being without a word. Now, imagine that connection without the filter of the body. That is the reality on the subtle plane. Emotions are pure energy waves. Grief is natural. The ache of loss is a testament to love. But the problem begins when this love turns into a desperate grasp. When the one left behind insists, consciously or not, on tethering the departed to their pain. Words like, "Why did you leave me?" or "Come back," act as energetic anchors. The soul, which has already begun to journey, feels this pull, and out of love, it often turns back. It stays close, trying to soothe, trying to explain. But in doing so, it too becomes lost, delaying its own healing. There are souls who remain bound for years, not from a lack of will, but because they feel they cannot leave while their loved ones are collapsing. This creates a cycle of suffering. The soul cannot ascend, and the living cannot heal. This does not mean you must forget. It means you must honor them by transforming memory from a wound into a source of strength. True love is not an anchor, it is a sail. It allows the other to journey on. And when the soul finally feels that release, it is free to visit, to inspire, and to guide. For now there is space for that communion. There comes a time, after the untying and the life review, when the soul stands at a new threshold. Portals of light appear, inviting the consciousness to journey onward. But where does it go? The destination is not a place on a map. It is a vibrational resonance. It is a mirror of the world the soul built within itself during its earthly life. These spiritual portals are passages of frequency. Some souls are guided through them by gentle hands. Others feel an inner compass, a pull toward the light. Some, still heavy with guilt, fear, or attachment, cannot yet perceive the doorways. These portals lead to many different landscapes of the spirit. Ancient traditions speak of what can be called spiritual communities, organized realms of light with gardens of healing, libraries of wisdom, and schools where souls undergo their own mending and preparation for what is next. This is a common experience reported by seers from many cultures. These are realms of high vibration, open to souls who, even with their flaws, lived with an open heart and a will to grow. Here, the soul is welcomed, cared for, and reconnected to its deepest self. Beyond these communities lie what we can call the astral planes. These are not fixed layers but spheres of vibration. The lighter the soul's energy, the more luminous and beautiful the realm it inhabits. Here, time flows like a gentle river, thought shapes reality, and learning is deep and symbolic. In the denser planes, by contrast, there are zones of fog and shadow. Some call this the threshold. It is not a punishment. It is the direct reflection of a mind that has not yet found its peace. Not every soul goes directly to a final destination. Many enter transition zones, like the quiet anteroom of a great temple. Here, the soul is met by its guides. Its inner state is understood, and it is prepared for the next step. It is in these quiet spaces that many are reunited with family, old friends of the spirit who crossed before them. So, does the soul choose its path? Yes and no. The soul is not handed a menu. It is drawn to the place that matches its own inner song. But a soul that practiced self-awareness in life has more clarity. It sees the portals opening. It recognizes the paths. This inner light gives it the freedom to choose its way forward with peace and with purpose. After arriving at its new vibrational home, the soul begins a period of deep healing and re-education. This is where it learns the lessons of its life and, above all, where it mends its wounds. Because yes, the soul carries scars. Even free of the body, it can carry old trauma, deep regret, burdens that were not resolved by death alone. Crossing over is not erasing the slate. Consciousness is continuous. One of the soul's first experiences is a welcome into spaces of deep rest. These are often described as silent chambers of light, where master healers work with compassion and wisdom. Here, the soul rests. Some sleep for what would be earthly weeks or months. It is a restorative sleep, needed to rebalance its energy after the great crossing. Others receive more active healing, enveloped in sound, in light, in clarifying conversation with their guides. The goal is singular, to restore the being to its natural state of harmony. After this period of mending, the soul is invited to expand its awareness through learning. Not the cold knowledge of books, but a living wisdom. There are great schools on the subtle planes, but the teaching is different. The soul learns through direct experience, by revisiting its past with new eyes. It learns the universal laws of cause and effect, of vibration, of unconditional love, and most importantly, it begins to remember who it is beyond the small self. Free of names, roles, and earthly masks, the soul rediscovers its pure essence. And this remembering is the deepest healing of all. As it grows stronger, the soul prepares for its next chapter. This does not always mean returning to earth. Some choose to stay in the subtle realms, deepening their wisdom, serving as guides for other transitioning souls, or working to send light and inspiration to the living. Others, seeing what they still need to learn, choose to return to the world of form for a new life. This is not an impulsive choice. It is a sacred contract, planned with great care alongside their guides. Every detail is considered: the family, the challenges, the gifts, the encounters that will serve as catalysts for growth. We speak more of this sacred planning in other sharings. I invite you to explore our playlist on the mysteries of life. And so, can a soul visit Earth? Yes, and it happens more often than we know. This is not about returning for a new life, but spiritual visitations. Moments when the soul, already on the other side, returns to observe, to comfort, to offer a final goodbye, or to simply be near. These visits are often so subtle, they are felt only by the heart. Others are so clear, there is no room for doubt. The soul can manifest in different ways, depending on its own evolution and its purpose for the visit. Visits in dreams. This is the most common bridge. Anyone who has lost someone they love has known this. You dream of them so real, so vivid, that you wake up feeling the truth of the encounter. And you are right. These are not common dreams. They are meetings on the astral plane. The soul of the living meets the soul of the departed. You exchange a glance, a hug, words that were left unspoken. and you return with a lighter heart. These dreams have a unique quality: vivid color, deep feeling, a clear message. You wake and know they were here. Subtle presence. Sometimes the visit is not a vision but a trace. A familiar scent that appears from nowhere. A song on the wind with lyrics that speak directly to your heart. An object falling without cause. A gentle coolness in a moment of deep sorrow. These are soft whispers, signs that you are not alone. These moments are most frequent when the soul senses a loved one needs support. Its presence brings comfort and strength. Spiritual appearances. In rarer cases, often with people who are naturally open and sensitive, the soul may appear as a form of light, a silhouette in the room, an image by the bed, even a soft voice. This is not common. Not all souls have the energy or permission to manifest in this way. Protective guidance. There are times when a soul, especially one who is a guide or protector, may intervene more directly to prevent harm, inspire a decision, or gently shift a person's path. The living feel it as a sudden intuition, a strong gut feeling, an unseen hand. And that is exactly what it is. How can we open ourselves to these encounters? Keep a quiet heart. Be at peace with their journey. Cultivate loving memories, not sorrowful ones. This builds a clear and steady bridge. Sincere prayer helps. Speaking to them with love helps, even without expecting an answer. But most important is to let go of demand. These visits cannot be commanded. The soul comes when the time is right, and only when it serves the good of all. This is why release is so important. To love without holding on. It is profound how, after someone leaves, our own eyes open. We feel more. We value more. We see that everything that truly matters is invisible to the eye. We learn that the energy we hold inside influences not just our own path, but the paths of those we love, both here and beyond. It is here that many people awaken to a simple truth: we are responsible for our own energy. Every thought, every feeling, every act of gratitude is a stone laid on the bridge between worlds. It is no accident that elevated souls can visit their loved ones with ease. They vibrate with light, and the living who keep their own hearts clear and open can feel them, for they are tuned to the same song. If you feel this call to reconnect, to raise your own frequency, and live a life more aligned with your soul, I invite you to our 21-day practice of conscious gratitude. You will learn to reprogram your mind and activate your full energetic connection. It is 3 weeks of conscious practice of raising your own light and opening the channel to all that is subtle and true. Many who have walked this path report that their lives begin to change in remarkable ways. Perhaps now is your time. You can find the invitation in the first pinned comment. Throughout this first year, there are certain vibrational gateways. The 7th day is the first great release. The 40th day is the untying from the material world. And the 1-year anniversary of the crossing is seen as a full closing of a circle, a kind of spiritual harvest of all that has been lived and learned in the transition. When a year has passed, something shifts. It is as if a great bell has rung, signaling the completion of a cycle. It allows the soul to move forward with even greater freedom, and it allows those who remain to transform their grief into a peaceful, living memory. By this time, most souls are settled in their new home, engaged in new learning, or perhaps preparing for a new earthly journey. For the living, this 1-year mark need not be one of sorrow. It can be a celebration of life's continuity. A moment to look within and know that everything, absolutely everything, is part of a grand and beautiful cycle